Hey guys, this is Jupiter, Bay Wonderland, Kapahime, whatever. Back with another video. Praline ice cream. Okay, this is my beach dress. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about being black in Japan, part 2. And this one's gonna be about queer stuff. Being queer and black in Japan. Okay, so my experience is not everyone's experience. When like I said, being black in Japan is like an exclusive, like everybody is different. It's not all the same. Some people's experience is, way worse. Some people's are better, it all depends. So my experience in being queer in Japan, I used to live in Tokyo. I didn't go to any like queer places when I was going to school in Osaka because I was mostly focusing on studying, so I wasn't really dating or nothing. But when I lived in Tokyo, I was dating people. So this video is going to be about the dating, how to date and stuff like that, and what you might come across and some terminology and stuff like that. So, Tokyo, circa 2014. 2015, I think. So I'm in Tokyo, and I'm living in a guy in Mae, which is kind of like where rich people live, because I had got an Airbnb for like a year or whatever. Stayed there, and this is keep in mind where I'm living, because this will be an important point in when you're going to Japan. Depending on where you live in Japan, people will treat you differently. I didn't notice, but Maya is like kind of like a ritzy area. There's like there's like Tesla dealerships and stuff like that, and there's advertisements for all these name brand stuff, and a lot of millionaires live out there. And also, one of the owners to one of the managers, I guess, to a shop it was like a goth shop in the Shibuya 109 store. I saw them that they lived in the neighborhood, and they saw me, and they're like, "Hey," they didn't know I lived there. So I'm going to Ni-chome. Now, Ni-chome is what they call the queer district, gay district of Tokyo. If you say Ni-chome, people will know, like, oh, Ni-chome. Because when I first got there, I was trying to find directions, because sometimes you get a little mixed up in Japan when it comes to, finding the place. Like, places kind of look similar and stuff. So I used to get mixed up a lot trying to find Ni-chome, till eventually, I can find it by myself. Even Google Maps, I use Google Maps, and it's still, so I'd have to go to like the store, but like, excuse me, can you point me to the direction of Ni-chome? And they'd be like, Ni-chome, like, where, you want to go there, and I'd always get weird looks, because that's the gay district of Tokyo. Ni-chome is definitely located in the Shinjuku area of Tokyo, so you want to go to Shinjuku to find it. They have clubs, bars, they have really good food places and stuff. I remember meeting a bunch of friends and, going out on a lot of dates and stuff out there, so it was good. So there, when I first went there, I stopped by, because I before I even went to Ni-chome, I researched it before I went to see where I want to go. So before I went there, when I went there, I went to my first stop there was Goldfinger, which is an exclusive lesbian bar, and they have trans nights there too. And they also have trans bars as well too, for like trans folks only. They have otokonoko bars, and otokonoko basically is men who like to cosplay as women. They don't want to be a woman like trans. They just like to dress in in women's clothing and be kawaii and stuff like that. So you'll have that. They have like, vampire bars and punk bars and stuff like that. So that's Ni-chome. So the first stop was Goldfinger. And when I went, I like got to know so many people. I even went to the owner of Ni-chome. I went to their birthday party. I think it was like their 50th or 55th birthday party or something. But I remember going to their birthday party and they had strippers and dancing and clubbing and stuff, and it was like really cool. But I went in there and they were so nice. Like I would go to Ni-chome with all my friends and stuff. It's always a good time. They're always accommodating. They're always sweet. It's like being in a family. I met all my queer folks there, like everybody there. So it's always nice. Hello, queer me. I'm going there, and I go in there, and the drinks are really good. They have nomi hodai. So there's a time where they have nomi hodai, which means all you can drink. So nomi hodai mean it's like a time you can go to places that are nomi hodai as well, but there's certain times where you pay like $20 and you can drink as much as you want. And it's like a time, like they have it till like 4 to 8 or like 2 to 8 or something like that, depending on how long it is. And also the drink specials there aren't that bad too. If you're ever finding yourself in Ni-chome, check out Goldfinger. But when I went, it was amazing. They have karaoke and stuff there. I met one of my girlfriends, through karaoke. So yeah, and a lot of hookups and stuff like that. So when I first went in there, I remember my experience. I met this one. They were like butch lesbian. I'm gonna just use the Western terms for now. Butch lesbian. And I remember they came up to me and they were like, "Are you neko or koneko?" And I didn't know what that meant. And they knew because I was speaking Japanese. They're like, and I didn't. I was like, what? Neko or koneko? And then they asked me seme or uke. Now, if you read yaoi or BL or bara or something like that, you would recognize these terms. Seme means the top, and uke means the bottom, the one who receives. So when they said that, I'm like, oh, I said, I'm both. And they were like, both? You have to be one or the other. You can't be both. And I'm like, and that's another thing in the queer culture. You have to pick one or the other. It's weird to be both. So I told them that I'm both. And I asked them, what does neko or koneko mean? Neko means, in gay terms, seme uke, that's for gay men. Like they use seme uke. But if you're a lesbian, queer woman, or femi, you use neko or koneko. Now, neko means cat. Koneko means kitten. So she asked if I was a cat or a kitten. So the cat is the dominant one, and the kitten is like the least dominant one, And also a femme, like also too in Japan, everybody who comes to the queer bar necessarily aren't queer. They just curious. Some of them like are so attracted to like the neko or the seme of that they fall in love or whatever. I've seen a lot of straight women come into the bar, looking for masculinity in female form. So I was like, so they got surprised because in Japan it's still kind of, especially in the queer community, you still have, just because someone has long nails too, I noticed like the lesbians in Japan will have long ass nails, and that's it. Like they're expected to be the bottom, and that's it. Like lay there and like let the top do all the work. That's not how I'm about. So me and this person were getting in a conversation. They were like, "That's interesting. Like you're both. Like you're not one or the other." And I was like, "No, I like to." I like having fun. Like, and they were like, then the person I was talking to, they said, I've never been penetrated. I don't like penetration. So there's a lot of those in Japan. A lot of queer lesbians, or queer folks who don't do that penetration at all, and that's common. And I found that extremely interesting. Like, if you're like the butch lesbian or whatever, you won't. In America, we call them stone butch. You know, that means they don't like penetration. They don't like to be touched or whatever. And they just say they don't like to be touched or whatever. Like, they like to like do all that to the other person. And I found that interesting. We ended up not, really we didn't hook up or nothing because, obviously it'd be a problem because I like to, I like to be hands on. you know. So it was interesting that I found that interesting. There was like definitely a lot of high profile queer folks in Japan who will go to Ni-chome to party and have fun, and then you have to keep your mouth shut, because it's still unacceptable to be queer in Japan. Like, you can get kicked out, you can get disowned. Like, you can't just come out, to your parents like that, because it's like a death sentence. Like, you'll lose everything you have. So there are a lot of people who are in the closet in Japan, but like at the same time there are a lot of people who are out too and living their life. Like the owner of the Goldfinger, they're out, they preach about out and proud, they're always doing events, there's always LGBT events and stuff like that. They're so huge in the community. So I went to another bar called Dragon Men. I think it's called Dragon Men or something like that. But that's like a gay bar. And at the time I went to Japan, they had a law in place where you weren't allowed to dance at the club. You weren't allowed to dance. And if you were dancing, the security guard will tell you to stop or get out. And I don't know if it's still like that, but at the time I went, that law was in place, and I was like mad because I like to dance. Like, I like to get out and break down. So like a lot of my friends and stuff, we could dance in the lesbian bar. They wouldn't say shit to us there. But if we went to like the gay bar where it's like hella crowded and stuff, people, you were just standing around dancing or standing around smoking. Like, that's all you were doing. Excuse me. Yeah. So that was interesting to be there, where they had an ordinance where you weren't allowed to dance. But if you're in Ni-chome, like, expect that stuff. Like, a lot of foreigners are there too, because Ni-chome is like famous, like, because it has like these really cool popping places and stuff you can go to, and it's very chill. It's very chill. I have been all over the world, the queer spots, and Japan definitely is one of my favorite places to go party with my fellow queer folks. It's such a good time. It's so, and like I said, I tell my friends when I'm in Ni-chome, I feel like I'm with my family. There's a lot of places like I'm in LA right now. Not right now. I'm on vacation, but I live in LA County, California, currently. In the queer community, there is not like family. They're very superficial, very judgmental, very, like, if you don't know someone, or you don't know someone who knows someone, then you're nobody to them. Japan is different. The community's much smaller. So you're not treated like that. They treat you, with kindness and respect and honor and stuff like that. And they know it's scary to be out and being free, and they know it's liberating to have a place you can go to and feel safe and be yourself, and that's what I love about Ni-chome. Like, I've spent I would go Monday through Sunday Monday through Sunday, I would spend my times always in Ni-chome. I'd like go to work, go leave work, head straight to Ni-chome, like party it up till like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., go eat some ramen, and then catch the train back home. Or sometimes I would walk, like I met somebody, I met a really cute girl, and they walked me. We walked. They walked me all the way home, and it took like, a few hours, like maybe 3 hours. But they walked me home. I don't know why we walked. We had money to take the train, but like we were just talking and just, walking and enjoying, the company and stuff. And I'll give y'all a story time to end this video. Or I might not end it. I might talk more about it. But yeah, when you're definitely there in Japan and in Tokyo, I mean, in Osaka, the queer scene isn't as big and popping, I'd like to say, because a few of my friends live in Osaka, and they go there and they're like, it's okay. They prefer Tokyo, to the queer scene. Definitely, it's a big no-no to be queer in Japan. There's a lot of gender non-conforming folks that exist and walk around. But, they have the genderless, and they have this, and they have otoko noko, and, but it's not like, it's still not safe, you still can get in trouble, you still can get your ass beat. People think, oh, Japan is so respectful, like we bringing it back. Like, of course, why would anyone attack anyone? You get attacked all the time. There's fucking gang members. There's homophobic, transphobic. People with knives. Like people, they don't have guns in Japan. Like they have a rule, like don't carry guns and stuff. But people have knives and they'll like poison you and stuff like that. Like they don't play. Like you still have to be safe. Like be safe. For me, I'm like always out and about, like I've never been in the closet, I'm always been like, this is who I am, So that's how I was in Japan. Like they were like, oh wow, like you're so pretty, or this and that, this and that. You never had a boyfriend, and they were so like in shock and all. Because I've noticed like a lot of queer folks in Japan, a lot of them used to date boys and stuff before they knew like ew, they don't like boys. And they found it interesting. Me, like they call it gold star in America. That term's outdated now. I know there's very few people who are like me. I don't push it down people's throats like, oh, I've never been with a guy, like, yeah, like I don't do that. Like it just so happens to be that's just how I am. Like this is just how my life turned out. But in Japan it was interesting because they were like, wow, like you just knew, like, and you just ran with it, and they were just so shocked by it. And I was like, yeah, like that's just how life is, And I've had experience where people want to hate on me, like, well, sometimes I feel like they want to hate on me because I don't date cis men or don't date men. I like even like it's not like I didn't give it a chance, I like tried to date when I was younger because I was curious when I was younger, and I didn't like it. Like it wasn't suiting my fancy, so I cut that out completely. It's easy, and they're like a lot of especially like I come across a lot of black women who don't believe me because they're like, you have to have an urge, you have to have that urge, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm broken because I don't. You have to have the urge for dick, and I'm like, no, you don't have to have an urge for anything if that's not how you work on the inside. Like it's like saying you love spinach and you hate tomatoes, and that's like, well, you have to have an urge for tomatoes. And it's like, if you don't like tomatoes, you just don't like tomatoes. That's just it. You're not gonna eat them. That's just it. People can understand that concept. They can't understand it when it comes to gender and sexuality and stuff like that. Like, people are weird. But yeah, that was another thing when I was there. So story time. I was in Goldfinger, and it's karaoke night. And when you're in Japan, if you can sing in English, people think you're amazing. That was another thing. Like I was singing in English, and they're like, "Oh, sugoi!" like, like, "Hontoni sugoi," and I'm like, "Yo, it's just English." But I was singing what was that song from The Little Mermaid? Um, Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? When you think my collection's complete. That song. And I remember there was like some people who came into the thing while I was just belting my little heart out, and then I finished the song and I like turn around and I see this cute girl and their friend. So I'm friendly. When I'm abroad, I'm the friendliest bitch alive. So I go to the table where they're at and I start chatting them up, and she's so cute. Like she got a short haircut, she dressed sharp, and her friend looked okay, like but I'm like more into her, and I'm like, hey, like what's up, how you doing? And they speak English so well, like so because they went to an American school in Singapore, so that's why they spoke English so well. But they're Japanese. So yeah, so they were like, "Oh my god, like I liked your singing and and have her tell it. She was like how they first fell for me. They said they heard me sing that Disney song, and they were like, "Who the fuck is this girl singing that Disney song?" Like, but yeah, so I went up to them and I'm like, introduced myself, introduced them to their friend, and their friend was living in a capsule hotel. Their friend was living in a capsule hotel because they didn't like the what do you call it? They didn't like whatever the hostel they were living in, because it was like a lot of problematic stuff going on. So they were living in the capsule hotel. Their friend was like, "This shit is not cool." Like capsule hotels, claustrophobic as fuck and all that stuff. So I thought they were cute and stuff like that, and I ended up getting. There's this app in Japan called Line, and it's like WhatsApp or Kick or whatever, but it's like it's a Japanese one, and it's called Line, and you can text, and you can have a phone number, you can post. There's like cute kawaii stickers and stuff like that. You can post pictures and stuff. So we traded each other's lines, and we were talking and talking, and then we ended up dating. I remember. I think I asked them to be. Oh, they were like. They asked me. They're like. I forgot the term. They're like, "Am I gonna be like one of your like conquest or whatever? Where are you like? Do you have a girlfriend in each continent or whatever?" And I said no, because I identify as polyamorous. And they were so cool with it. They were chill with me being polyamorous, and they were chill with everything about me. We ended up not, staying together long, but they were just so chill, and we would like go out to dinner, and we would go to like famous, Japanese places. They took me to like near their home, and met their dog and stuff. Um, they came out to their parents, and their parents were happy. Their parents they were kind of like the black sheep of the family, or whatever. They also did other shit that was kind of sketched out that I will not talk about because that's something else. But yeah, like they told me like their experience in high school, like they used to date boys because they thought like that's what they supposed to do or whatever, and then they found out that they didn't like it at all. Like it was totally disgusting to sleep with dudes for them. So that's when they knew that they were queer or whatever. And yeah, like that was them or whatever. But they were totally cute. Like I saw them, and me and their friend talked for like hours and hours, and like we were drinking and stuff. And I love Japanese drinks because they make it real strong. Like Japanese people are some of the biggest alcoholics you will ever know. UK people from the UK and Japanese people. Because they don't have any other types of drugs in Japan. Like they do, but it's hella illegal. Like for example, weed. For example, in Japan, this is off topic, but weed will get you 12 years in prison in Japan. Like that's how they feel about weed. Like if Japanese people smoke weed, they'd be a lot more chill. But since they can't, they just drink, glug, 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 glug. So, some folks have such a problem with alcoholism. It's such a, and at the same time too, there's places you can go like kitten cafes and owl cafes and rabbit cafes and maid cafes and yaoi cafes, and there's other like alcohol free places you can go to with your friends. But a lot of people prefer to drink, and a lot of people blow out their liver. Like there's a lot of occupations where you have to drink. Even like for example, like I remember I went out to drink with my boss, off topic. And you have to drink everything that your boss gives you. And you could be out, you could be like dead or whatever, and you still have to drink. Like that's what I don't like about Japan. Like their drinking culture is crazy. Like it's insane. Like yeah, but it's definitely a big drinking culture there, and if you're out in Ni-chome and stuff, definitely you will be drinking. And if you're not into drinking, they have milk. It's another thing, they'll serve you milk there too. Like if you want milk, like a lot of people will just order milk, like just to drink milk at the bar. And I was like, what the fuck, drinking milk like at 3 a.m? But that's another thing. The clubs don't close till like 4 or 5 in the morning. Because that's when the trains start running at like 5 or 6 in the morning. So the clubs don't close because a lot of people take the train home. A lot of people don't have cars and stuff. They prefer, or some people have cars, but a lot of people prefer public transit in Japan. That's another thing. In LA, if you don't got a car, that means you're no good. And I'm like, I'm not trying to pollute the environment extra. Like, get out of my face with that. But yeah, like that's what you'll find. People will be taking the train. So that's why the clubs stay open for a long time. It's so people can catch the train. So yeah, that's my little splurb about queerness in Japan. It's definitely like a fun time if you're queer. Out and open. I know a lot of my queer friends, especially trans queer friends, enjoy being out in Japan, and they find themselves being a little bit more accepted over there. Because I was talking to a lot of foreigner trans women and trans men. There's so many trans men in Japan, like so many. But one of my friends is a trans man, and he's like a DJ. He does trance music, and he also works at a bar, which is the bar Goldfinger that I went to. And there's a night there they have, I think it's Monday nights, where they have trans male nights, and that's where all the trans males in the community are out partying, having a good time. And there's a bunch of straight women who fall in love with them. So like it's like a fun time over there. But yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope I didn't rant too much, and I hope you guys got a little bit of information out of that video. Comment, like, or subscribe if you want. You're not required. And if you want to know about anything else in Japan, just shoot me a line and I can make a video about it if you like. And I hope you have a good evening. So eat your ice cream. Drink your water, and I'll see you in the next video.